There's a meeting in my head. Come on, man. That's one of them songs that still to this day, if you put that song on, you're liable to come out with triplets. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But don't blame it on me.
Your pull-out game gonna get weak. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Talk about that experience.
Oh, man, listen, man. Meeting in my bedroom is one of my favorite moments, man. Because it wasn't my first session. It wasn't the first song for the session that I worked with them, but it was the first time that I knew I was on to something different. You know what I mean? And we was making those songs right there, right then, on the spot. I was
production and vocals?
Production, vocals. Okay. You know, all the instrumentation, all of the effects.
Really? It wasn't no pre-production. Y'all take that home right to it. Y'all did it right there.
Right there. That was everything. Everything I did from that moment pretty much moving forward, majority, I would say about 95% of it was tailor-made material for the artists.
But they still, some artists ain't spontaneous or on the spot. Johnny on the spot. Some of them,
that's why I didn't work with those.
Oh,
that's why I didn't work with those, because I like to work with artists who are willing to change.
Yes.
When I meet you at a point where you're ready to change, that's when I give my best work to you. You know what I mean? Busta and Janet, that was a change.
Yes.
Silk, the Tonight album, that was a change. My Body for LSG was a change. Yes. My Gerald Levert stuff was a change. When I worked with KC and JoJo, that was a major change for them, from Jodeci and everything that they did in the past.
Yeah.
So, those were changes that needed to occur in R&B music to pay homage to what our predecessors has done, and also, push this thing forward and make in the future have something that somebody else can be inspired by and to sample and to interpolate or whatever and redo. It's just a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
So that song was so theatrical.
Yeah.
Bedroom, bedroom, bedroom. You did all that.
All of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was going through your head? I would often wonder, because y'all are musicians are geniuses. To be able to hear something in your head and bring it to life, because that's basically what you're doing. Or this need a little this,
man.
This need a little that. I've seen people cook up or produce tracks.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me the stuff that you guys can do.
Oh yeah.
And what was on your mind that day? You say y'all it was a session. Obviously, y'all were doing more than one track.
What I would do is I have a baby grand piano, man, that I've written like all skeletals. Where I just I vibe out and I have some chord structures, and I'll come up with a chorus, because I wrote pretty much all the choruses for all of my hit records.
Okay.
So and so I would just sit down and I just start playing some chords, and I hear a chorus, and when I knew I was gonna have the opportunity to work with Silk, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna come up with a couple of these, and I came up with like 3 things. It was Let's Make Love, Meeting in My Bedroom, and Sexcellent, which was all on that album, and I called Merlin Bob, and back then we didn't have FaceTime, what I'm saying? We had those analog phones though, and I don't know what it was about them landline phones. Music just sound better hearing it on the other end when somebody was playing something to
listening
you.
To this.
Yeah. So I started, he said, man, you got any music? I said, I'm gonna play this, check this out. And I got on the piano, I was like, let's make love. And I just kept on, I wanna make love, and we just kept on growing from that.
Yes.
And he was like, man, that's crazy. And I said, I got this other one. I just cooked that up right there.
Yeah.
Just played on that. And then he said, man, you need to do a conference right now. We conferenced in the group, and I played them those same chords over the phone on a group meeting conference call.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, man, we want to meet him, man. I says, well, I'm actually about to fly to Texas to go work with Link on his album right now. I'm about to go sit down and just work on his album. On the way up there, I could stop at I could take a little pit stop in Atlanta and meet you guys at the studio. And they was working at Dallas Austin studio, DARP. So I flew in, I hopped off the plane, and I had a layover in Atlanta for a few hours, and that's what I used that time for. It was time well spent. Yes. As soon as I walked into Dallas Austin, they have a song on the Tonight album called Love You Down. Let me love you down, baby, on and on to the break of dawn. Just wanna love you, kiss you, love you now. Well, that song right there was like, I went in there and I heard the track and I wrote that hook real quick. Like I literally came up with that hook that quick. They recorded it and that was our first session, 5 minutes. We literally shook hands, dapped each other up, wrote that hook, and I dipped.
And made a song. Made a hit.
Yeah. And they was just as excited to work with me as I was to work with them at that very, very moment.
I would say that that's probably their biggest song.
Love You Down?
No, Meeting in My Bedroom.
I don't know, man. Probably Freak Me.
When you think of Silk, one of those two songs comes to mind.
Yeah.
But that Meeting in My Bedroom, come on, man. You just being modest right now.
No, maybe, you know what it is too, because I see the checks, I see the statements. Yes. So I know.
It's got to be one of them too.
It's one of them too. It is one of them, but I tell
still
you,
coming.
But if you, shout out to my boy Kenny Flav, who co-produced If You with me.
Okay.
He was part of my 2,000 watts production camp. If You was one of those records, man. It was one of those records because that was their first single.
Yeah.
With us introducing this new 2,000 watts sound.
Yeah.
With Silk's voices, and you got to keep in mind, Lil G was the only lead singer.
Yes.
Prior to that. With that album and with that single, we were not only introducing a new sound, new cadences, and new way of attacking the music, but we were also creating a new voice in the group, and that was John, the falsetto king. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I brought John in on more leads and stuff, and he was our setup man, and I started using the whole group's voices for various parts. You know what I mean? Like Timzo is a real deep baritone bass. I would use his bass and literally play his voice like a instrument in the tracks, and then Jimmy and all the rest of the cats, man, will come and sing each note like a choir part, like everything I learned from Kevin in the choir, True Vine Holy Temple. I took it right into that booth and I applied copy and paste. And that's how I got them records to sound like that. It sounded like we was listening to Kirk Franklin in that joint.
So is this something that you just, you say you got it from, what's the guy named Chris?
It was from being in the choir with Kevin. You know what I mean?
Kevin.
Yeah, he if he didn't teach,
you would not know.
I would not know. That was, what I mean? I paid close attention. I was there for the process. When you go to choir rehearsal, you still have to hear all the other people's parts while they're learning it, even though that's not the part you're singing. So I started to learn the process, and they would change stuff live right there during rehearsal. Like, no, we're going to invert this one, and we're going to do it like this. And I want need you to go down right here and go up, and I need y'all to be able to hit some of these tenors notes and some of these altos notes. And it's like everything started to make sense to me in theory.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew it could be done, but I didn't understand the theory of it. And I think, but what helped me complete my theory was, first the church, then working with track masters. And when working with them, I was able to see how I needed to change my drums. So what I did is I made me a bootleg MPC. I used the R8 drum machine, and I hooked it up to an ASR 10 rack. And I would trigger some of the sounds on the ASR 10 for all the hard knocking kicks and snares, and I would use all of the hi-hats and and stuff like that from the R8 to give the song those other elements. So when you hear my body, you hear that little brush, tsh, 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 you know what I mean? The wood block and all of that I use in a lot of my songs, that came from the Proteus 1. And I just took little sounds and I sampled it in the ASR 10, and I put that long haul effect that's on the ASR 10 in that joint. And you remember how you can take the sample in ASR 10 and make it boost?
I don't know nothing about producer.
Oh, yeah.
I know. You want me to say yeah?
Yeah.
Be lying
say yeah.
Yeah. I'm up.
Bobo lying here on that TV show. That's super wrong TV.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Don't you want somebody to keep it real?
Yeah.
How would I learn?
Yeah.
You might want to show me something that I want to learn. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? That's pretty much what I did with that, and and then the track just it was easy from there, man. Everything just came together, man.
Yeah.
It's your girl Jazzy K with Super Tight TV. We want to thank everyone that's been watching. Hey, if you do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, also press the notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video.
No, I'm gonna get some game tuned in with Super Tight. Yeah, I get the low from Big Bobo from the front seat, not no photos.